welcome back to your favorite place to be, Cliftone's Corner. I'm your main man, as always, Cliftone here to give you the dish on everything Big Brother 24. Now, I'm not even gonna say a bit late. I am very late with this. Due to some technical issues, I had to take a little break off, was trying to figure some things out, and I actually recorded, I guess like 3 weeks worth of Big Brother content in one episode. Chopped it into two parts. Not even chopped it into two parts. I recorded it in two separate parts, and then the playback speed on both parts was doubled. So I pretty much wasted all of that time recording, time I cannot get back. Of course, I cannot perfectly recreate that episode, which I will not try to do. My plan now is to go ahead and quickly finish up week 1, get into week 2, dive on into week 3, flow on over to week 4, and set you up for week 5. Now, in order to do this, I'm going to have to go pretty quickly. So my plan is to upload 3 very short episodes, just little, I guess, quick refreshers, since I won't be able to re-record the full deep dive. If I was to re-record, that would set me back so much. So instead of doing that, I'm just gonna keep on trucking forward. So again, this will be in 3 parts. This first part here will be the remainder of week 1 I did not give you guys on the other episode, and then we'll dive into week 2. So are you ready for the Big Brother 24 catch up? Let's get into it. When I last left you, I believe it was day 6, when Taylor and Terrence were placed on the block. Now from here, the house target is Taylor. She is pretty much a definite to be walking out the doors come Thursday. But unbeknownst to us, and kind of sort of unbeknownst, no, because if you go back to my first episode, I kind of talked about this. Now, it seemed to me like, I was joking, but it seemed to me like Paloma was on quote unquote something, as if she needed to be on something. And on day 8, Paloma ended up walking from the game. We later found out that this was due to mental issues. I want to say mental issues. It was for her mental health. That's the way she put it. But then she also was coming out the woodwork talking about she was bullied by Taylor. And I'm not pretty sure that like 90% of these people understand how the live feeds work. They are live. We watch you sleep. We watch you eat. We watch you walk into the stall to go poop. We watch you pretty much doing everything except competing. We're watching you all day long, unless you want to sing a song or talk about somebody who didn't sign a release. We can see you. We see everything that's happening. So a lot of these players are pulling a big D and saying, well, you guys don't see everything you do. They're live feeds for a reason. But moving right on along, so Paloma leaving the game created this vortex of a sort. She created holes in several alliances. Girls, Mamba, which they needed to change the name of for legal reasons. There was a core 3 of girls inside of Girls, and she was also She was also a part of PSL, Pumpkin Spice Latte. Also, due to Paloma leaving, the live eviction was canceled. So the first eviction did not exist. All of our votes for America's Vote was for nothing. But Julie did go ahead and tell us that Brittany won, which I feel like she could have told us. The whole house did not need to know. I feel like things like America's Votes are something that is capable of putting a target on you, no matter how small it may have been. It, in my opinion, is still a target. Oh, America likes you. Are you America's player? Oh Lord, don't get me started on America's player. Jeez, man. But yeah, so Brittany won our votes. Thank you to everyone who voted for Brittany. We got our girl that win. And then that was it. That ended week 1. So the messiest season of Big Brother is shaping up pretty trashy. We're gonna move right along into the head of household competition. Now, I've noticed throughout the weeks here that the head of households are played in parts for some reason. I'm not sure why. The thinking behind this, I did see somewhere that someone said it's for the Sunday show. They want a competition to show on the Sunday show. If you want a competition to show on the Sunday show, bring back luxury comps. Bring back the food comps. Like, come on. But I digress. I don't see it coming anytime soon. They'll probably bring back Battle of the Block or some stupid shit beforehand. But part 1 of the Head of Household number 2 is going to be called Bye Bye Backstage. And if you remember back to last summer, it was the I believe it was the Head of Household that Sarah Beth had won, where they had to run a little obstacle course and get through in a certain amount of time, and not in a certain amount of time, but first person will get through in a amount of time, and then the next person would have to beat that time, so on and so forth. Person with the fastest time wins Head of Household. In this situation, they aren't running against times or anything, but it is like a balance beam obstacle course type of thing, and they go off in pairs. So the person that wins the race is the winner of this part of the HOH competition. Then they move forth to part 2 of the HOH competition. Now, I did not take note of who was in pairs, but Joseph, Monty, Taylor, Michael, Kyle, Jasmine, and Amira move on to the second part. And part 2 of the Head of Household competition is called the BB Pie Eating Contest. Now, first out of this contest, let me slow down. Let me explain how it works. So basically, it goes in rounds, and each round you stick your face in a pie, and you have to pull out a T or an F corresponding to the question that you were just asked. I believe the questions were about the house. I need to take better notes. But yeah, I believe the questions were about the house. Out in the first round was Monty and Kyle. Brought out some new pies, a bit bigger. In each round, the pies increased in size. Second out was Taylor and Joseph. Third out was Amira. Fourth out was Michael, which means Jasmine won the second Head of Household. As a note, during the first part of the Head of Household competition, Jasmine managed to sprain her ankle, and if you ask her, she'll tell you that she broke it in 13 places, and she needs major surgery. But yeah, it's all a lie. And as you come to know Jasmine through the coming weeks, you'll find out that a good majority of what she says is probably a lie. Jasmine is one of those people that, like, they go on and they go on and they go on, and they have to make it about them. You could be telling a story about how your grandmother passed away in a car accident. Her car was T-boned, and she just didn't make it. Oh my gosh, I remember the accident my grandmother was in when she flew off the side of the mountain, and the car grew wings and it floated, but then it exploded, and she's one of those people. So I don't like those, I just stay away from those. Soon after she is granted her Head of Household power, Jasmine is also granted the power of choosing this week's have-nots, which she does not want to do. Jasmine passes that on to the outgoing have-nots to pick their replacements, and Pooch, Nicole, Terrence, and Daniel end up being the have-nots for this week. If you join me on the following day, Jasmine will be making her nominations of Pooch and Taylor. Now, some background on these nominations. Pooch actually volunteered to go on the block as a pawn. Who does this? I don't know. And in my opinion, if you look at the cast, as far as the males are concerned, if you wanted to pull out the top males based on cast photos and bios, and I don't think we got preseason. Did we get preseason videos? I don't know, because the cast drop was so messy. You would, my opinion, I would pick out Pooch, Monty, Kyle, and Joseph as the guys that, they might be not trying to run the show, but they maybe and probably are fully capable of winning these competitions. They're fully capable of doing what needs to be done. So Pooch putting himself in this position, that just gives everybody this little carrot dangling in front of them, and who wouldn't take it? It's week 2. This is a prime opportunity. So though Taylor is the main target, Pooch has volunteered to go up, and he's put himself in a bad situation here. I would not have done it myself. I wouldn't ever go on the block as a pawn, period. But especially being someone like Pooch, it's something I just would not have felt comfortable opening my mouth about, and if it was brought to me, I would not have felt comfortable accepting it. The next day on day 11, we'll have Mermaid Fest. It's Veto Comp number 2. Pick to join Jasmine, Pooch, and Taylor are Michael, Amira, and Terrence. This competition is one where they're in like mermaid bodysuits and they're sliding down this little runway thingamabobber, and they have to take this ball with them. They cannot use their hands at the end of the runway. They have to use their head to like hit the ball and bop it down the rest of the runway into 3 little slots. First person to land their 3 balls into their 3 slots wins the power of veto. And the person that managed to snag that win is Michael. Oh, my boy is doing good out the gate. So far, this makes it 2 for 2 for Michael. He also won the first week's veto as well. Coming on up in 2 days will be the veto meeting. And, of course, Michael will choose not to use the power of veto because there are 2 very prime options here. The house target, Taylor, very huge target for the house. Everybody wants her gone. Everybody's talking about her. And then there's Pooch, another huge target. He could be a threat later on down the line. He was backstage boss, though it was by, luck of the draw. He did get some power in this game where he was able to save some people. People may look at that combined with who he is. He did like a little shorty though. So he wasn't that tall. He wasn't like some big macho guy, but Pooch was definitely someone you could see later on down the line or anywhere along the line, snagging up some wins, just beating everybody over the head, snatching up vetoes. So yeah, he's definitely someone that needed to go. Which happened on day 16. Live eviction number 2. Pooch was evicted by a vote of 12-0. And if you do keep in mind, this was the actual first eviction due to Paloma walking on day 8. Now, I did not go over the week 1 draft. I just slid right into week 2. So, with the draft, everyone pretty much starts at an even playing field, of course. It wouldn't be fair any other way. And then I have a small point system. I really need to use lower points and something. I need to figure something. I'm going to get this right one year. I will get it right. Winning HOH or veto grants you points. Any other extra competitions they may have throughout the season, like the movement competition, will grant you points. If you win a prize, a cash prize, or any prize from there's a prize punishment veto, you would, get points for the prize or vacation or money or whatever, and you would lose points for any punishment. You also lose points for being a have-not, being nominated. If you lose your vote some way, somehow, I can't remember the last time someone lost a vote, but if you do lose your vote, and then if you're an instant nominee, meaning by some way, somehow, you're last out of the competition and you're guaranteed to go on the block, you get nominee points and you also get instant nom points, so you get doubled up. You make it hard for you to get back up in here. So at the end of week 1, of course, everyone started at a plain old 0. We had Daniel as HOH, and he also won part of his moving competition. He won the first part that granted him the access to play in the HOH competition. There we go. Joseph was a have-not, as well as Kyle, Michael, and Monty. Monty won his moving competition. Michael was nominated as well as winning veto, in addition to being a have-not. Paloma walked from the game, so we're not dealing with her. Pooch was backstage boss. Taylor was nominated along with Terrence, and Turner won his moving competition. That would put Daniel at the top with 14 points, Pooch with 4, Turner with 4. Monty went up, moving his winning competition, but went back down, becoming a have-not. Alyssa, Amira, Brittany, Indy, Jasmine, Nicole all did nothing, so they stay at a neutral 0. Michael was a have-not, a nominee, and won veto, so his points jumped all around before landing at -3. Joseph and Kyle landed themselves at -4, with Taylor and Terrence landing themselves at -6. As we move on to week 2, Daniel was a have-not along with Nicole. We had to have more. Yes, we did. Pooch, sorry, notes are kind of disorganized. Our nominees were Taylor and Pooch. So, that would bring us to, oh yeah, Michael won veto. Daniel is at 10 points. Jasmine is at 10. Turner's at 4. Michael's at 4. Monty, 0. Alyssa, Amira, Brittany, Indy have all done nothing still. Nicole, Joseph, Kyle. Yeah, Nicole, Joseph, and Kyle are all at -4. Terrence at -6. Taylor at -12. And Pooch at -16. And that there will end weeks 1 and 2. So I hope you come right on along for part 2. I'm going to dive straight in from recording this one. Like I said, no ad breaks with this one. Though this is 16 minutes, it was not supposed to be. I'm sorry. So I should split it up and do an ad break and get a little coin. But I'm going to jump right into recording the next part. So thank you for joining me here. I'm your main man, Cliftone. I'll see you right on over there.